This is another fight that goes down in the history books, all right? This is the worst knockout in mixed martial arts history, maybe? The worst soccer, maybe the worst soccer kick knockout in mixed martial arts history, you know? Spoiler alert, watch this, here we go.
Brad Kohler from St. Paul, Minnesota versus from Rio de Janeiro,
Yeah.
Renato Babalu.
So it's Brad Kohler versus Renato Babalu, and I've met them both, and Brad Kohler was a wrestler and totally full of steroids. If you watch some of his other fights in the UFC or wherever, the guy he's like, I don't want to say he's 5'4" and 300 pounds of muscle, but basically he's a cube. He's about as short as he is wide, or wide as he is tall. You'll see in a minute here. The guy is absolutely jacked, and see, look. Like, just unbelievable, you know? And Babalu, you probably know who he is. He's, you know, Brazilian, he's well-rounded, he's kind of a jiu-jitsu wrestler, but he's also got some striking going on there. I met him years ago at the Playboy Mansion, and I don't want to say he's the devil, but, like, if the devil were to ever take human form, like, have you ever heard Renato Babalu laugh? Have you ever heard him laugh? It sounds kind of like this. It sounds a little bit like that. I think I was talking to him at the Playboy Mansion about this fight. And I was like, hey, you're the guy that knocked out Brad Kohler. And then he laughed like that. You know? And I was just head to toes filled with a chill. Like, anyway. So watch this fight and put in the comments below if you want, or I don't know, do whatever you want, it's your life. But man, this is why soccer kicks were made illegal in North America. And this is World Extreme Fighting 8, okay? I forget what year this is, but it's a while ago, you know? I'll put it in when I upload it or whatever, I'll put the year in there, you know? Look at that! You just wait, this gets real bad. I'm not sure how long this fight is, but like, even in Pride, there weren't knockouts from soccer kicks like is about to occur. You know? Look at that. Like, that's just terrifying. You know? Do you think that guy's done maybe a little bit of steroids? Maybe? You know? And look at this guy. You know, not as, and bear in mind, who has Renato Babalu fought? He's fought this guy, he's fought Fedor Emelianenko, he fought Chuck Liddell, you know? His haircut's a little funny here today, but I'm not going to be the guy to tell him that, you know? But, man, to say that Renato Babalu Sobral is tough and, you know, a seasoned fighter maybe, is the understatement of the year, you know? Yeah. And the thing with Brad Kohler is not only does he have, you know, not only is he on the list for the worst soccer kick knockout, you know, if you watch what he did in the UFC, he fought a guy, I think his name David Dodd in the UFC, and he is like, I'm pretty sure David Dodd is still unconscious from that, because Kohler like fakes a shot and then throws a shot and just knocks him extremely unconscious, like, you know, wow. Anyway, you can see here that Kohler is not interested in striking with Babalu. I'm not sure what Babalu means in Portuguese, you know, with Mr. Sobral, that sounds too formal. You can see that Kohler wants to grapple with him. He wants to pick him up and throw him around and stuff. And, you know, a wise strategy, I guess. And you can see that, interestingly, both of them are wearing shoes. Both Sobral and Brad Kohler are wearing wrestling footwear there. You know, which I think means they're allowed to knee but not kick, but then later there's a kick, so maybe this is one of those events where you're allowed to kick while wearing shoes, which means you would be foolish not to wear shoes. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's one of the many things I don't understand. Anyway, Kohler clearly wants to take Babalu down here, but Babalu has him up against the fence. And, kneeing him in the groin there. You know? You can see Kohler's not enjoying this. And Babalu's trying to do that thing where you have a clinch against someone and they lean way over you and you knee him in the head. You know? Wise. Always a good idea. Or whatever. You see Kohler's holding the fence there. I think this is before they had the whole... And bear in mind, this isn't the UFC, right? But I think they hadn't created the whole North American rules yet about no grabbing the fence, which was a huge difference. I mean, you watch some of those fights from earlier MMA, like the Walid Ismail versus Yoshiki Takahashi fight. Takahashi just grabbed the fence through the whole thing. Anyway, this one, clearly they're allowed to grab the fence. I'll show you another one. I'll upload another one where the guy gets his hair grabbed. It's pretty wild. Anyway, but maybe I should just shut up and you can hear the guys doing the play-by-play. They're more skilled than I am. I know. No, I'll be an arrogant prick and just provide my uneducated play-by-play. You know? So you can see that Kohler wants to land, is trying to line up that big punch there, eh? Yeah. Big cage they're in too, huh? There's other ones I have on, on file where they have they're in a square cage and it's really small and there's nowhere to go. This one you can see is really big, and I mean, is it an octagon? I don't know, but the corners aren't very deep. I'll tell you that. I have other ones where the fight happens in a cage that's truly a circle, and they call it the Circle of Truth or Circle of Justice or something. They always have a name for. They can't just call it the cage. They always got to call it something. Oh, is this the one? No, this isn't it. You can see, this kind of reminds me of the fight that happened between Maurice Smith and Mark Coleman back in the day, where pretty early in the fight, the striker, per se, demonstrates that the grappler is not going to be getting a takedown. He's like, you're not taking me down. Actually, in the Coleman-Maurice Smith fight, I think Coleman did take him down, but Maurice Smith just kept getting up, But this one, I think, Brad Kohler wasn't even able to get his initial takedown, which doesn't bode well for him. You know what I mean? So now we're between rounds. But you can see it's not going well for Brad Kohler at this point. You know what I mean? He's tried to take Sobral down a couple times. Babalu, if you will, Hasn't worked out for him. And Babalu clearly knows that, Kohler's going to try and throw the huge right there. See, there's his takedown attempt. Didn't work. I'm actually kind of surprised Babalu didn't knee him in the head. Oh no, there he did knee him there. Look, there you go. See? Because they didn't have that grounded opponent rule the UFC now has, that people are, trying to use to get wins. You know what I mean? You see now and then in the UFC, a person gets kneed, and then the referee's like, "Can you continue?" And the person's like, "I don't know. Was that technically an illegal hit? Because if it was illegal and I'm going to win, then I can't continue. But if it wasn't illegal and I'm out, then whatever." So you can see Kohler is trying to line up. He is seriously trying to load up a shot here. He's got his right hand just, It's like look at that. Look at Kohler's right hand. He's it's starting by his right knee. He wants to throw the biggest punch in the world, and then Babalu's just kicking him. He's like, "None of that, sir. None of that, thank you." You see? There's Kohler trying to line up that big throw, that big right. Kick him in the leg again, So in round one, Babalu was like, "Hey, you can try your takedown. It's not going to work." Number two, he's like, "I'm wise to that right hand, friendo." See, there's his shot again. Watch this. Bam! That's what I'm talking about. See that? They're going to show it again, I think. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if Kohler expected that to happen, because he was kind of tired or something, and he's like... It's kind of funny. Here, let's watch that highlight again. They'll show it again. But that one's bad. I don't know, man. Did that ever happen? Put it in the comments below if you want. Did you ever see a fight like that happen in Pride? Where stomps and soccer kicks were allowed? I mean, there were some guys like Vanderlei Silva and Shogun and a few other dudes, you know, or maybe it was Mirko Krokop versus Hiromitsu Kanehara. That one was pretty bad. The Smiling Killer, Hiromitsu Kanehara, you know. I don't know if I ever saw one like that, because that was clean. Like, that was right, you know, foot to melon, so to speak, you know. And is Babalu thanking God now, you know? That's kind of funny, eh? To thank Jesus for blessing you with... Watch this. He punches him. Kohler shooting in. Maybe he's already out from that punch. I don't think so, though. But watch this. He's still there. Bam! Like, that's just... It's like kicking a bag of potatoes. It just moves over a little bit, you know? Look at that. Was he already out? I don't know, but look at that. Like, that guy... Man, just stick a meat thermometer in that guy. Take his temperature. I mean, that's just... Look at that. Like, wow. Jesus. Anyway, there you go. Do you think that's the worst soccer kick knockout in mixed martial arts history? I do, at least, you know. Of the ones I've seen, which is pretty much all of them, you know. Mental. Totally insane. And now 17 guys drag Brad Kohler out of there. You know? Look at that. There you go. Don't mess with Babalu, man. He will kick you in the head. Yep.